we will surely so damn it. So sorry. So we were talking about how what how it is problematic when we associate toys, clothes, or any objects with masculinity and femininity. So and that is the reason of my question, because in my question itself was problematic because I am already associating cars to boys and dolls to girls. And as Samyukta pointed out, that's very wrong, right? The associations are very wrong. And that's absolutely correct what Samyukta is saying, that these associations are in itself a problem. And this is the base point of the things and which we have the fancy term called stereotype, right? So that's how it propagates these stereotypes, like so it's very important that we hit right at the root cause, which is these associations. So on continuing on the topic, we were talking about uh, so your masculinity and femininity, the degree of your masculinity and degree of your femininity doesn't define your gender, or neither defines your sexuality. It's just you are a person who has uh, femininity and masculinity. All you have to do is embrace your who you are, because it's not that if you are man and then you have more femininity, then your desirability is reduced. You're actually the person who is actually interested in you should be the one who accepts you the way you are. So if you are more feminine, you the person who is into you has accepted you wholeheartedly with all understanding all of you who are. So your desirability is as simple as being true to yourself. So moving on the point, so we have seen people. Just a minute. Yeah. So there are stories of families in which so these families have we have heard that they disown their child when they hear about their alternate sexuality, which is not heterosexual, and they disown their child and they are thrown out of the house because of the gender identity or sexual orientation. So so if this I would what would be the message you would like to give to the person who is dealing through the situation right now? So um so yeah, welcome back, auntie. Welcome back. So I was saying uh, there are stories in which families, when a child comes out to their family, uh, these childs are disowned. They are thrown out of the house because of their sexuality, because of their gender. So anyone listening to our call, listening to this video today, what would be the message you would like to give uh, to whoever is listening? Let it be any family member. Maybe it's their family friend or something. So what would be your message to them? Ramanti, can you, why don't you start?
Yeah, it's very sad to hear about these things happening in society, and I can't understand how anybody would disown their own child for any reason, let alone something like this. So that is the first thing, and I cannot begin to understand what's going through the minds of such parents or whoever, the elders who are not able to accept the children, and then going to the extreme step of disowning. I can completely understand that it takes some time to wrap your head around the fact that there is your child is not different as they understand it, not as the reality is, right? But then the point is that, yeah, I don't know. I mean, see, the people who disown, I don't know whether it's seriously going to be possible to convince them that they're doing it, what they're doing is wrong or right, because it's an inherent matter of belief for them, and how to kind of change that belief itself is a big challenge, is a huge challenge. And I think it may help if other family members slowly start convincing, this do it or not in immediately kind of challenge will not work. It has to, you have to slowly change that person's way of thinking, and probably it can best happen by other family members slowly trying to convince this person to change their way of thinking. That is the only thing I can think of that will help such unfortunate cases.
Auntie, what would be your message to the family members or on this point?
Yeah, that is why if we sensitize students now, no, children now, so they can influence their parents also in their judgment. See, in Mumbai, we see so many this LGBT community people, no, their children also see their parents' reaction to them. So if we sensitize children, they can change their parents' view also. So slowly only we can change it.
Yeah.
But for the new generation, it would be easier to accept. But parents like of our age, it will be difficult. Slowly only we can change. But for new
Just
parents, it will
because,
be little bit easier.
yeah, just because, as you said, ki, child who is now sensitized, he is going back home and educating their family members. But nowhere
Yes.
in this conversation I'm mentioning that the child is from the LGBT community. The child can be anyone,
Yes.
just passing the information. And because, yeah, growing up, the generation before us, growing up, they didn't have the resource to learn. So,
Yes.
and but we all would agree that the learning doesn't stop. So there has to be a flow of learning. And thank you for Auntie for bringing this point that yes, the child can go back and teach their family members. So that's a start. Even let's say if even if 1 out of 10 family this is happening, that's we can see that as a positive, because it always starts small. This law, how it changed, uh, it was not a one day thing, as you mentioned, Ramanti. It's been a decades of work, the decades of movements. The LGBT movement grew. So, what do you think should be the next step towards? So, what is the changes you have seen in the society since the law has been struck down, and what is this change? I mean, what do you see as the next, like, let's say the same-sex marriage, right? So, what do you see? Where are we heading? Like, how can we help it? As you said, apart from that, as in a law or whatnot, what more do we need from the judiciary so that it's again speeds up? So, Auntie, I would like you to go first.
Okay. What laws we have used? Actually, yeah, more than law, it is acceptance from their parents and others. No, that is more important. If that is there, then whether law is there or not, it doesn't matter. If the child's parents accept and his relatives or extended family, they are accepting, that is more than the law.
Yes. Thank you. Ramanti, how about you? Like, what do you think have the changes happened since the law has been struck down? And what are the, I mean, what more do you see on, do we, like, Samyukta, to you also, do you have hope that uh, the same-sex marriage law would be coming soon to India?
Yeah, I think the next logical step is to legalize the same-sex marriages, because one thing I do see is that even though it is Section 377 was scrapped, there's still discomfort in openly living together. I mean, right now in India, the only option is to live together. Obviously, you cannot live together legally wedded couple. There is discomfort, but it is happening, and I do see that. I think the community has become more open and has lost some of their fear for obvious reasons. But legalizing the marriage is the next logical step, according to me, because then that conditioning will slowly, that's the only way to overcome that. Once you have a few marriages happening, even in other countries, they haven't come to a state. There are some states in the United States itself which don't accept same-sex marriages as legal, and then you have other legal issues coming in where you have the common property and co-owning property and a lot of other things that come in,
Yes.
which are accepted in only if you are legally married to each other, and not if you're living together. So all that has to come. However, I don't see it happening very fast. It's going to take time, just like this long fight was done for scrapping this. That was like such an obvious thing to be done, but still that took time, because our
Yeah.
country is so diverse. It has so many people of all kinds of mindsets, and unfortunately that's the reality on the ground. So it will take time, but I think that's where we should go. By the time you guys have come to our age, 100% you should be allowed to get married to members of the same sex, and live together openly without fear of any legal or moral or social. None of that should be existing anymore. So probably another 10-20 years from now, I hope to see a much better state in India.
It's a good point that probably the next step should be marriage, because a lot of legal things are tied to marriage. Like you own property or insurance and taxes and whatnot. Everything is linked to marriage. Few things though, like as you mentioned, like people who are having a same-sex partner in India at the moment have only an option to live together. But then again, they might face harassment from few people, like landlord, like very basic things. They don't get a place to live because the landlord is like not accepting, or they have to hide it from the landlord, say that we are friends and two single, whatever. And this is not just, I think, facing LGBT community. This is like these sort of legal protection should be there, for religion, for food habits, like, oh, we only want vegetarians or whatnot. These sort of protections should be in place, because living somewhere is like, you that's kind of pretty basic. You need a place to live, you need to figure out what's a nice, and you need to have that easily. The other thing is, as you said, that the law should, auntie, you said that, whether the law is there or not, acceptance is important, but then only when the laws are in place does the change actually happen. Because first you start with you scrap the law, and then, as you said, people come out in the open, they talk about their experiences, and they don't face legal repercussions for that. So then you have seen actually a couple of movies which came out, like Ek Ladki Ko Dekha, and in mainstream Bollywood, and the other one by Ayushmann Khurrana. So these things will come out only when the laws change, because people will say, we're not going to face legal repercussions for that. And then when the laws come out in mainstream media, when the movies and stuff come out in mainstream media, people come out openly and say, you see some normal looking successful people, people who are well adjusted, they are coming out and saying, I'm this way, it's fine. And then people start to believe that, yes, this is fine. You're not going to uh, you're not going to have a bad life. You can have a good life if you're like this. And Amma, it's a good point that you made, that in the US, not every state accepts it, because I think in 20 some year, 15 or something like that, President Obama had passed an executive order legalizing same-sex marriage in all 50 states. But to this day, there are people who are against that because it was like a quick order, right? It was legal in some states, not legal in some states, but he just like federally made it legal. And to this day, there are people who argue against that, not because necessarily they're against same-sex marriage, but because they were against like this thing being put on them, like you just have to accept it now. So that is one point, and we cannot probably do something like that in India, because as you mentioned, there are a lot of different religions, a lot of people with different mindsets who are living. They might take it as an attack on their religious freedom or their beliefs that marriage is a certain thing. So it has to be a slow fight. And I think before same-sex marriage, it's like a chicken and egg problem, right? Because marriage is tied to legal protections, but then you need the legal protections for marriage. So I would say, actually, why should all the legal protections only be for married couples, and why not for live-in couples? Because that's what is happening. In certain cases, you might see this going to courts in India. You might see like, the court has said that we recognize live-in partnerships to the same legal extent as a marriage. So they have the legal protections of a marriage. That would be a good place to start, because then you can say, okay, we have legal protections in living, we have insurance, we have whatever other things. Like if you go to the hospital and you want to see your partner, usually only like the spouse is allowed. So if you have that for a live-in partner, and then you have the legal right to be there, then that creates the foundation for actually being accepted, I think. And you're muted again.
Samita, thank you for reminding me that I'm in mute again and again. And thank you for bringing the point about the laws of living relationships and marriage. And because we have seen companies, it helps companies, as you said, when law is made, it made few companies come out and show their support. When the law was not there, they were hesitant because of the repercussions. Because, as Auntie said, India is a very diverse country, and so, and you rightly said, like if you impose something, some or the other person will be sitting there to object and criticize it, which we don't want to do it. So it's a very tricky way in which the same-sex marriage law can be applied, and we are positive that it will happen soon. We just have to have a little faith. But yes, so there are, despite this, some companies are providing insurance to their live-in partners and same-sex couples. But at the same time, because India doesn't have a law like that, it becomes very tricky for these companies to come up with these laws and protections. And who doesn't need protection? And as Samyukta, you said, to the audience listening, this is a very imagine a scenario in which there's a couple and the gay couple, and his husband is sick in the hospital and he is fighting for his life. So his love of life wants to see him, but he cannot because he's not listed as a family member. So isn't it very painful to watch? So that's why we are talking about things like why legal protection and these things matter. Because if you see it as a human thing, yes, he deserved his chance to go and visit him. But how dare he calls him not a family, because the law says he's not a family. So you see why we need laws in which so that we are not discriminated. So it's a long way, but hope our audience is getting to know why we are having this conversation right now. Because yes, we fought a battle of 377 and it was struck down, but there's a lot more to go as we are talking. And it's very important that we start talking about these things sooner or later, because these things will matter, and these things still, it's not that it's not matter, it doesn't matter right now. Like people were gay from long time. It's just now it is coming to in more mainstream, like it's coming to our notice more. Why? Because of these laws. So that's why we need more and more such laws which would protect and give the LGBT community the right we deserve. And I like the quote a lot, just as Indu Malhotra said while giving the verdict, which was, history owes an apology to the members of the LGBT community. And whenever I hear these statements, I get a goosebumps. So because I didn't realize that this when it was stuck down, and when I saw my mom and dad's reaction to this, I was quite surprised, because for me, I had the same thing as auntie mentioned, कि law हो या ना हो, मुझे पता है कि मैं तो सही हूँ, right? But for my dad, he's a government employee, and they're like strictly law-abiding citizens, right? If it is also $10 in their income tax, they will mention that $10 also. Even if that $10 was gift from some family member. So when for them, they don't know the intricacies of the law. For them, they just know what everybody is saying. Ki being gay is criminal, right? So for them, he was not able to support me because the law, they are law-abiding citizens. So for them, the law was like, I literally heard when I was coming out. I mean, the trouble was, they were saying कि यार तू हमारा ही बेटा है, पर यार तू कैसे बोल सकता है, तेरे को जेल में डाल देंगे. So he literally said to me that तेरे को जेल में डाल देंगे, but it was not in a threatening way. It was just as a concern. So that's why these laws are so important, because not everybody is so questions the things. Like Samyukta, you questioned the things, right? Why a car is associated with a boy? We don't question it. We just get conditioned throughout it, right? And that is how it hinders. And that is why we need these law kind of changes. So moving forward, I would like the audience, I would like to go ahead with the audience questions. Audience can type in their questions. We will read them out in the chat, or if we are comfortable with getting them on call. I would like to say a few words. I'm a parent, Dr. Charu Wadhwa. Hello. Yes, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Hello.
Yeah, Charu, I was just just joining again. You can just ask her once more. I think the person left the chat or something like that.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Yeah. Good evening. My name is Dr. Charu Wadhwa.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. I just wanted to add something, because I have been into teaching profession only, and I have been observing students for the last 13 years. And what I could see in our society, unfortunately, the thing is that we are still living in a society where people are not ready to accept even intercaste marriages between two opposite sex also, right? So, I mean, bringing up this point, I really appreciate that you guys are bringing such kind of discussion. You have such kind of community. But I am really not understanding that how we have to overcome, because making those parents understand that yes, please accept an intercaste marriage, right? And then making the same parents understand that please accept a marriage between the same gender, right? I mean, it seems to be difficult in a country like India. So I think yes, there is legally it would have been accepted, but the social acceptance, I think it will take time, because see, people like you and me, we are educated, and but there is a lot of generation gap. You know, still there is a lot of generation gap. They do not have. If you talk about our parents or grandparents, they do not have that orientation. That, I mean, that acceptability. It will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time. People have to put in a lot of efforts. So whatever things seems easy from the legal point of view are very, very difficult from the societal point of view. Still, because we were talking like a country like US, which is the most advanced country in the world, and even there are so many states which are still not accepting the same-sex marriage also. So India is far behind US. If you talk about social acceptance, right? We can nowadays also we see a lot of killings, honor killing, the so-called honor killing, right? So I think step by step, gradually it will move on. Suddenly we can't accept that, okay, the society will change itself, because we have a different orientation. Our coming generation, they will have a very different orientation from us. Like similarly, we have a different orientation from our parents, right? So I think the baby steps have to be taken now. These are the baby steps. We are still on the baby steps, right? And it will definitely take some time for that acceptance. It's good to have such discussions from the community like you. But and the one point that I like was the communication, because communication can be an essence. Because if you find a family member who is educated, or maybe who can accept these things, right? Because the first thing that comes to anybody's mind of the previous generation is to disown a child, right? चलो इसको प्रॉपर्टी से ही निकाल देंगे, इसको बेदखल, you know that term called बेदखल, इसको बेदखल कर देंगे इसको, because उनको ये लगता है they would feel that society will not accept them if they accept that particular same sex marriage. अगर वो उसको accept करते, society उनकी family को accept नहीं करेगी. That is no, that their orientation that needs to be changed. So if somebody is educated in the family, that person can communicate to the other family member, right? They can educate to others. But I think it will take time in a country like India. It will take time. Yeah.
Arnab, I think you're mute again.
Still on mute, Nandi.
Oh shit! I thought. Oh, damn it. Thank you, Dr. Charu, for your input. And yes, it will take time. So this is baby steps. And one thing I would like to add is I'm gay, so it's not my job to educate people, right? And it's not the job of the LGBT community to educate people, because we also have our life. We studied on our own all these things. So it's to be a better ally, we have to educate ourselves. You can get the help from the community to understand, but the push should be from within to understand the community. Like and we don't think that this person is gay, this
that gap. So
yeah.
if somebody has a very different orientation, so that time I think one needs to educate that person, even if
Yeah,
that
of
person is
course.
literate, yes, because
But
there
we
is
have to also
difference
see the
between.
capacity, right? Some people doesn't have the capacity beyond certain things to understand.
Yeah,
It's
some
everybody
might.
has a different threshold about asking.
Correct.
And one thing I can add on that point is, as you mentioned, that many things are not accepted, like in society, even though they're legal, right? Like religion, intercaste, from a different place in India, whatever, apart from same-sex marriage. So this is something I was actually saying to my parents when I was telling them, and they were asking like, what is going to happen? When my dad was a little concerned, what is going to happen in society, because that's there in your parents' mind. And then basically I said, in for a penny, in for a pound. Somebody is going to have a problem with who you marry or whatever, no matter, whoever I choose, somebody would have a problem with it. So why not just choose whoever you really want to be with, right? That's just my
Yes,
view.
of course, everybody has the right.
No, I meant like these issues will exist, right? So I think it is still worth talking about all of these issues. Like, it's not like, oh, intercaste marriages is legal, so we don't need to talk about it anymore, right? We still need to talk about it because it's still not accepted. But we should also talk about same-sex marriage. As you were saying, how do you explain to a parent who does not accept intercaste marriages about same-sex marriages? What I'm trying to say is, they have the same barrier to all these things, right? So you should not feel like you cannot tell them about same-sex marriages because they are at the point where they cannot accept intercaste marriages, because like they have the same barrier to everything. So it's all, I don't know if I'm making my point clear, but
No, correct. Because communication will become an essence that time.
yeah, and I agree.
First
It has to be
step is communication.
it has to be a slow change. It has to be a continuing change, and we still need to talk about those things as well. It's not like it's done and dusted. That's it.
See, I think
There's
it
another
was
question.
not
Yeah.
that it's not that there were no LGBTQ people 50 years back. I'm pretty sure they were all in the closet, and it's taken them 50 years to come out little by little. And 50 years back, intercaste or interreligion marriage was an absolute no-no. Now it is so common that in every family you will probably find at least one or two people who have, so the acceptance is coming. In the same way, I feel 10, 20 years from now, same-sex relationships, marriages will also come to get accepted. It's just a matter of a slow acceptance. You cannot say that, everybody will not suddenly be on board with it all at once. It has to happen to them. And the closer it comes to some family member, they will see that, okay, this person has not suddenly changed and not suddenly grown horns and is looking completely different because they're in a relationship with the same sex. They're still the same person. They're still doing the things that they've always been doing. And that acceptance will come. And then, then it trickles to other family members and it will keep on going. So, the effort in convincing has to be there. It has to be there from a family member. It has to start, because you're more, those who are so kind of rigid in their thinking, even they can change provided somebody keeps on, at them chipping away slowly, like over a period of time in a very subtle way, instead of trying to say that, no, you're wrong. When the minute you tell a stubborn person that they are wrong, they will, they'll dig in their heels and refuse to believe anything. So the time is what we need to get this acceptance to the level.
Correct. That's why I mentioned that gradually it will go on, but it will take some time. Yeah.
We have 3 minutes more. So any concluding word you guys want to add? Shri?
On the only thing I can say is that you get a lot of support from your parents, and the way I did it was test the waters first. Like, if your parents are going to be screaming mad about it, so like I went it in the slow way because I wanted to know how to approach the situation. So if you feel so, maybe try knowing if they are homophobic at the very least, so that at least you can how to approach them. First maybe educate them and then tell them. And if you find that they're okay with it, then maybe you can just tell them. So like I did that with my mother's. I tested the waters. I saw if she was fine with it, and then I came out to her that, okay, this is what I'm feeling. I think that is what helped me. So I mean, that is the only advice I have. That I don't know. My mom can say something. How?
Thank you, Shri Lakshmi and Auntie, for joining today. So this conversation was really, really beautiful, and I'm so happy that we had this conversation. Let's hope that we have more such conversation in future. And thanks for giving us the time, Samyukta, Ramanji, Shri, and Auntie. Thank you. Thank you for joining. And thanks to all the audience for patiently listening to us. So goodbye. And once again, thank you. And let's celebrate today.
Yeah. And thanks,
Wherever
Arnav.
Thank
you
you
are.
so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Arnav.
Thank you.